them are already removed. The Ornn, the Kiana, the Kali. Braum, Aphelios, and LeBlanc are still open and available. I want to see whether or not Comp wants to. And he's going to go Varus in a few seconds. We'll see if Jack Troll takes the Braum. Definitely a comfort pick for him. It's a hover on the Aurelion Sol. I'm not going to get my hopes up. We anticipate the Braum here.
Yeah, and this is kind of the standard. You're going to start seeing these combos over and over. If they want to grab the Leona here, they can. That's usually what happens. And I do agree with what the analyst desk was talking about, where if you take a Misfortune and you leave a Braum up, that's almost like a feels bad. But again, globally around League of Legends, people are fine to make that trade if you also then get it with the Leona. If they don't grab Leona here, I would expect it would be one of those pinch bans if they do want to try to take away the combo.
Okay.
Just because Misfortune and Leona can effectively 100-0 most 2v2 counterparts in the course of the duration of their ultimates. Now, Rakan can do something fairly similar in that it's about that long-range lockdown, although he doesn't necessarily have the strongest kind of like 1v1 that Leona does. The joke right now is that if Leona gets onto your backline and she's just smashing your ADC in the face, she can probably actually kill him by herself without a lot of assistance from the ADC, whereas Rakan really can't do that.
Yeah, definitely the case. And we need to see then how else do the Mad Lions round out the composition. They've got some strong engage tools here with the Cataclysm, with the quickness as well. And I mean, a Cataclysm with the bullet time, that can do some work. I want to see how they round out the composition. What would you like to see banned as we see Lee Sin and LeBlanc now taken out of Phase 2?
I mean, I just like the fact that they're trying to pinch the AD jungle pool because you already have an AP top laner. So again, trying to make sure that it's harder for Vitality to diversify their damage portfolio. So there's the follow-up of the other AD jungler with the Olaf, which means if they want to go that route, since Jarvan, Lee Sin, and Olaf aren't available to them, Skeens would have to reach for something like a Rek'Sai unless they get an AD mid laner, and then they grab something like the Gragas. And what we saw Excel do with that was something like the Yasuo-Gragas combo.
Yasuo is available. I'd love to see it. Seiken yesterday had such a fantastic performance. Another AP champion removed from the pool. It's Silas, taken off from Mad Lion. So Humanoid's going to be looking into his champion pool or Arome. They have to reveal one of those solo laners and then decide where...
Or just grab a flex.
So here we go. Exactly the case. I mean, technically, Rumble could be a flex. I've seen crazier things.
No, he's definitely being flexed right now over in the LPL, mostly played into the mid lane position, and Mordekaiser is that flex pick. Yep. So everyone's just kind of holding their breath. Where is everything going to land? And
I like the fact that, again, it's diversifying that damage portfolio on the other side. Seiken, yesterday, if I recall correctly, he did play that Cassiopeia. It had such a good performance. And I want to see if he does it again. The Rek'Sai that you anticipated, Frost, good prediction there.
So I think it means that they're going to go for double AP mid and top lane, forcing them to go onto this Rek'Sai. I would love to see the Cassiopeia. I think Seiken was really the highlight for me yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, Jack Troll and Cabo had some of their flashes of brilliance in some of those team fights with that veteran shock calling to set up the team fights. But Seiken was popping off on Cassiopeia. I was losing my mind backstage.
He was absolutely a monster. But if we zoom out and look at the 5 champions together now, a lot of damage, a lot of ability to move forwards, and Zoe found herself in the ban pool several times. So what are we seeing from both of these team compositions and how they're going to play out?
There's a lot of pick potential onto Mad Lions where you're playing around kind of the poke and the pick of a Zoe and a Rakan. If they can find you out, if you get control of the vision, if you're the one that's placing the wards, denying the vision, Zoe can be so punishing. And then when you feel confident, you just slam on top of that with Misfortune and Jarvan. So if momentum gets behind Mad Lions composition, they can punish really effectively around the map. And on the other side, you just have a really good 5v5, some side lane pressure from Vitality's comp. I do want to see Seiken play more towards the side lanes. I feel like they were pulling him into 5v5s when he should have been a bit more focused on trying to go for kind of a 1-4. So my eyes on him. I loved his Cassie yesterday. I'm glad that we get to see it again today.
And I'm very excited to see what the support staff can do in 24 hours. You know, we had that interview with Duke, and Law asked a fantastic question around how Vitality have pulled elements of all 3 European world representatives. And it's fantastic to see former colleagues greeting one another, hugging one another, of course, both of whom playing or working together on Splice last year, making that run to quarterfinals.
Yeah, we didn't even get into the mind games that it's Mac versus Duke. What is he going to do? How is he going to read him?
It's amazing because yesterday we had Andre Guijoto versus Miffy. Today, Mac versus Duke. It is always exciting to see who will come out on top in the early stages of the split. And then later in the split, for us to make some bold claims about who is the better coach, you know? We never really know behind the scenes, but it's always fun to theorize.
That's all you.
Yeah, I'll take it. That's on me, Frost. It's Vitality taking on Mad Lions, both teams 0 and 1 as they lost their opening match. Let's dive onto the Rift and figure out who will be victorious today. The Vitality squad grouped up going north to the northern quadrant, and Mad Lions got themselves a chant here in the studio as they're invading on the south. So neither team going to spot one another out unless there's some late, when you lane assignments.
There are some shenanigans, and you can see on the minimap right now that Mad Lions are question mark pinging the general area about where Vitality are. So obviously the team with the Braum is going to feel very confident kind of walking in, but both teams setting up traps, Mad Lions scouting, grabbing vision. I think maybe something cheeky was planned for Vitality, depending on what they ran into, because they do have 2 wards placed in the Rift Herald pit and then also on the red buff. So that ward formation, they're trying to figure out where Shadow is going to start. And because he's a Jarvan, he's one of the few champions that he can grab a buff and then use his EQ combo to go over walls. So it's fairly common on sides of the map when you're against a Jarvan that you're going to ward over one of the pits just to check if he's going to cross map on you and force vertical jungling.
Okay, let's see if it happens. I love the fact that we keep focusing on the junglers. Ender just did that breakdown of the jungle changes here in the 2020 season during the course of Rig Check. If you didn't see it, definitely go back.
He's also going to be very happy that it's Hail of Blades Rek'Sai.
Yes, definitely not a fan of the Conqueror that we saw yesterday. He had a very impassionate rant on the analyst desk. But Frost, you also were talking a lot in-game yesterday around the differences in expectations and decision-making that junglers can make. Shadow and Skeens playing on the LEC stage. 7 of these 10 players are rookies. So it's always fun to see how they develop, how they grow, and what choices they're making as Shadow's already gone for this invade.
And I really liked the performance that we got out of Shadow yesterday. He's kind of one of my more hype rookie junglers coming into this. So you can see that Shadow has already invested a lot here with the mid priority that he has over Humanoid's Zoe to walk into this jungle and basically set the trap. He knew Rek'Sai would go red into Krugs, and now we'll see if he catches him.
All right, well, that's one catch-up. The unburrow doesn't really work. Flash secured already. Advantage Shadow on the Mad Lions.
Very nicely done, good sir. Walks in, waits for the Rek'Sai, forces the flash, and that flash is so important, obviously, in the gank potential between these teams. Yeah, Rek'Sai can try to get a good angle, get a tunnel behind someone, but usually it is the flash knockup that is going to secure the kill, where Shadow has the flag and drag and his flash on top of it. So we'll now see if one person's a bit more successful with their ganks because of that flash.
And I know it's very early in the game, but I do want to remind everybody of Mad Lions yesterday. They managed to show up against G2. They accrued themselves a substantial advantage during the course of the opening 15 minutes. Got themselves a kill advantage, got themselves a healthy gold lead as well. And the Mad Lions, they just weren't able to convert that lead against G2's experience. And this is a great start already from Shadow.
And what's really nice about it is, you know, when you're looking at G2, every team's like, we're probably not going to get to play League of Legends today. It's probably going to be like a 15-minute wipe, and then we're going to go home. So the fact that they did have that really strong early game, I can imagine just kind of gave a fresh breath of life into the team. And it can mean so much for these very young teams to find that type of momentum. Even if you didn't pull out the W, you didn't expect to get it against G2 anyway. So it's just holistically a really feels-good moment and means so much more for rookie squads to be feeling themselves, to feel hot and ready.
Absolutely the case. And today, the experience difference is much bigger as Jack Troll and Comp are trying to run down Kazi. The Ignite has been used, so there's Flash and Cleanse used. Comp did trade his Flash as well. So overall, similar trade of Summoner spells. And a reminder that Comp is running that teleport in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and I was just about to point that out. Obviously, the TP is just kind of a shortcut for making sure that you can get priority in that bot lane because of how it can speed up your back timers. Nice thing about Varus itemization as well, actually both Misfortune and Varus, is that you can just grab as many long swords as you want, so it feels like you never get a bad back. But now that the cleanse and the flash has been burned, yeah, it's level 3. I think the trial now is now that Comp ticks over to level 4, the race to level 6, getting that Varus ultimate and then trying to follow up on a flashless Misfortune.
Okay, let's see. Level 4s right now. Obviously, Comp is just starting to back. Can teleport, won't need to, as the wave is pushed much further, towards Kazi and the Mad Lions. He's got himself a second Doran's Blade. Even CS in the bottom lane, 7 or 8 CS advantage for Humanoid. We caught a glimpse of him stealing away that exhaust from a minion. He threw it down to Seiken instantly. And now Arome, he's in trouble. Caboshot overheats, so he won't be able to chase much further. And here comes Jack Troll. First roam of the game.
There goes Jack Troll.
But look at the bottom lane as both Comp has made his way up here as well. Remember that wave was pushed. So Comp and Jack Troll are not losing a whole lot. Shadow is going to be able to flag and drag to safety and not expend any further summoner spells. Good heads-up play from Vitality, moving resources around the map.
Yeah, and the end of that play really was the Vision War, the fact that they were able to secure control over that bot side river by placing the control ward. Although, as I say that, I think Kaiser is clearing it out now. He's like, no, not today. Get this ward off my lawn. But it was really just kind of posturing and positioning for that bot side river.
All right, so let's see how it plays out. Now,
Cabo's walking to lane. That's important because we just saw, thank you, observers, Orame TPing back into the top lane. Obviously, viewers will understand why that means a lot for Rumble at level 6.
Got a question for you, though. How much praise do you want to give the Vitality backtimers? Because Comp and Jack Troll pushed the wave back, they were able to roam mid. Then we see Cabo push the wave, Arome's now down a TP, so, you know, how much credit do we want to give Vitality in terms of the decision-making and these small advantages they're accruing?
I mean, when you get those incremental advantages, it's always something to watch. It's hard because backtimers are something that small moments can really mean a lot, especially when there's such little time about where you're going to make rotations on the map. I think in the early phase, it's not as big of a deal, especially on these types of AD champions, which if you take a bad back, it's not as punishing on Varus and Misfortune due to their cheap itemization. They're not two ADCs that really have to like save up and expend for that BF sword. Like you can see MF's itemization right now. She's like, just throw on a bunch of Dorns, a lot of long swords. Like, I'll take everything.
Yeah, that's the Goro build. When you have 4 blades you can hold in 4 arms, it's exactly what Goro would want if he didn't need to just beat you with his fists. Any Mortal Kombat fans out there. But look, it's a little bit of thrift shopping, and we'll see how quickly it goes up. Comp's already upgraded to his Vamp Scepter. No kills on the board just yet, even in gold. As far as CS is concerned, small advantages in top for Vitality, mid for Humanoid. And Skeens and Shadow, despite the early vision, and Skeens losing his flash, it is just about to come back up. It actually hasn't punished him that much. Mad Lions haven't found the opportunity yet to retake him out.
I mean, it just creates safety for his laners, but I'll hold it because bot lane.
Ooh, a lot of damage on a Jack Troll. No level 6 yet.
Skeens.
No flash yet for Kazi either. That's a flash away from Jack Troll. The Ignite continues to tick down. One more proc. I think he'll survive, and he does. Very, very close.
Yeah, walks away from that one. The jungler trying to get involved. So, again, missing flashes bottom as these level 6 are about to tick over.
Oh, man. And that was exactly what you talked about. Comp just hit it. So Comp has got the Chains of Corruption now. Cleanse has been used by Seiken. That could be a big deal if any support comes through. He's still got the Flash and the Petrifying Gaze, so he does have some tools to play with. And now Shadow maybe setting up an opportunity. A Sleepy Trouble Bubble. That could sign the deal. He's going to dash forward, use the Super Soaker. Now Humanoid takes a burst of damage and he escapes.
And these are the backtimers that are important. So I'm glad that you brought it up earlier, Trevor, because it's the fact that Shadow recognizes that Seiken has ultimate, so even in the 2v1 scenarios, that's not going to feel good. But Jack Troll gets low, he immediately does the back, and they sprint towards the Rift Herald and look for the Rift Herald rotation that is now being traded for the Infernal. All
right, the Realm of Death has been committed to. Cabo Shot's still got the Equalizer available. A lot of HP to burn through, though. And important to note, Cabo with TP, Comp with TP, and no available teleport for the Mad Lions. So Mad Lions get Infernal. Vitality, they secure the Rift Herald. And this will allow them to keep up these tempo plays. If their backtimers allow a siege with Rift Herald, maybe that can unlock some turret plays.
I also think that just having more gold, kind of raw gold in the early game is really important. I'd love to see them use that gold and give it to Cabo Shard. So yes, the Herald is going down top lane. I love this because Rumble is so important to get on 1 and 2 items. So by using the Herald top and funneling all of these plate golds into his pocket, when he already has a massive CS lead over the Mordekaiser, that's like Vitality springboarding their early game bridge point. Make this Rumble powerful, and then make Mad Lions pay when that Equalizer hits you.
And it's not just any Rumble, it's Cabo Shard's Rumble, arguably the strongest player on the Vitality roster with a 30 CS advantage. The team has 1,000 gold lead, they've got the first tower, so that Herald absolutely paying off for the team, and they still have TP advantage. So, you know, Cabo's going to be able to go back and spend some money. He is just about to do so. Humanoid not quite using that portal jump to effect. And the Haunting guys just picked up, so a little extra upfront burst for Cabo.
And reminder that it all kind of snowballed this domino effect back to Jack Troll almost going down to the bot lane and then immediately rotating to Herald. So it's one of those small rotations that can now pay off massively if Cabo Shard just gets out of control in this this game.
And I like that when Jack Troll was roaming, Comp didn't overextend. He sat real deep. He respected the potential engage. didn't put himself in a position where he could be punished for it, and that's good to see so far. So as it stands now, the tower's down. We've just gone back to sort of standard lanes for the time being, but you just feel like Vitality, with some of the more experienced, maybe leadership or leader-type players, made a few good moves despite losing Flash on Skeens early. Yep, I missed that. Now the engage is happening in the bottom lane. Kaiser goes in, Kaiser goes out. Bullet time plus Cataclysm is almost all blocked by Jackshot. Comp does go low. Cabasho comes in with a teleport. It's a little wild for Romo comes up, and that's just a 1-for-1 trade. But the teleport was committed from Cabo, and we didn't see the solo kill from Humanoids.
Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna get a replay of that one, but from what we caught, it just seemed like a little bit of flexing there from Humanoid. It wasn't even tagged with the Cassiopeia ultimate, so Seiken, he had a good game yesterday. That was a very unfortunate series event today. Let's see what happened here.
Sleepy Trouble Bubble.
He just doesn't have the cleanse.
This is why I hate Zoe. All kudos to Humanoid, right? He landed the skill shot after missing a whole bunch, gets what was a fairly easy kill, and then the fight breaks out bottom.
Yeah, Jacktroll will go down in the very end here, so it is kind of a 1-for-1 pickup when all is said and done. I think it was the double up off of, yeah. That feels bad.
That feels so bad, but Kazi, all kudos, I mean, all props to him, right? Lands the skill shot, gets the kill, so 2-1 in favor of Mad.
Yeah, and now we're starting to prepare for playing around the bottom side of the map. We're going to be bouncing in between this mid and bot tower, and you can already see Vitality moving in very deep with this aggressive vision. Yeah,
really nicely done. Jackshot moved into position to try to block potential Paddle Star, from Zoe. Just completely lost the spell, but wasn't needed.
Bubble of Death.
Humanoid managed to throw it another direction. But what I like about the fact now we're moving into this pit, if Mad Lions group up, Vitality's 5v5, like you talked about in draft, can do really well. If Vitality are in the pit trying to pick off Dragon, well, there's a Misfortune ult, a Cataclysm, Paddle Star, Sleepy Trouble. There's so many threats that both teams can lean on to play around this objective.
Yeah, and I do want to put the magnifying glass on Humanoid a bit. He didn't have the greatest game on Mordekaiser yesterday, and having something like the Zoe, like we talked about it, you have Rakan, you have Jarvan, so when Mad Lions feel confident to engage the fight, to force it, it is going to start with Humanoid, landing some of those nice poke damage before it seems like, okay, everyone's low enough, now we can go in for the throat, but then he has to hit it, and they need to control the vision, so Shadow and Kaiser, you can see that they're already starting to deny all of this vision, create some pockets. It's okay, he's going to walk it out. Create some pockets for Humanoid to play around so he can start trying to needle through some of that poke as this Mountain Dragon is about to spawn.
One of the things that we've talked so much about off-air, if you've watched several games, I'm sure you've heard a lot of the LEC colorcasters discussing the weaker impact of the early dragons. It's really the soul that you care about. But what I do like is everyone fights around the dragons. Now Humanoid's going to get caught out. Locked in place by the Miasma. Really nicely done. Flag, drag into the Cataclysm. Shadow now is in trouble. Skeens manages to pick up the kill and tunnel away to safety. Beautiful double for Vitality.
I'm going to have to say, maybe it was the caster curse. We were just complimenting Humanoid, but Seiken got his revenge. In part, a setup there from Skeens. I missed the first part of the fight, so hopefully on the replay we can figure out why Humanoid was there or how he got cut out. But very nice pick from Vitality.
So what you're trying to say is it's your fault he died because you were talking about it. Just want to make it clear.
Just this once.
But what I want to see is, can Mad Lions do anything to defend this Mountain Drake? Humanoid has respawned.
I'm going to say no.
Yep, Shadow's making his way down, but I'm looking at Kazi. He got ult if he wants to try, but no, not against 5.
It's just also not worth it. You were just talking about how the sentiment from a lot of analysts kind of around the world and talking with a lot of teams and players is that the first 2 dragons don't really mean anything. I think they talked about it on ReadyCheck. The average game time is 10 minutes longer in 2020 than it was in 2019. We used to have an average game time of 32 minutes, and now it's 42 minutes. And when you have a tank meta, you have more scaling options, games are going slower. There's just not a lot of emphasis, and there's not a lot of the same kind of like snowball gold and mechanics loaded in. Getting a look back at what happened to Humanoid. He was fishing, didn't have perfect information, and he caught a big one. Wasn't what he wanted.
No, absolutely not. But I love the little escape here by Skeens. I wondered if Arome would have been able to get him locked inside the Realm of Death. Wasn't able to do so. And then when we come out of it, obviously the next dragon has spawned, so Rift has changed. Ocean Rift. Most of the brush in the jungle will now grow larger. this, I think, is a little terrifying for Vitality, because if Humanoid can stand in any of the new grass and chuck out some of those sleepy bubble, trouble, double bubbles, it's just going to allow him to pick off even more players on Vitality. No, I'm really not. But you know what I mean? If he's able to use the stealth, the camouflage to his advantage, it's just more difficult for Vitality to play around some of these objectives.
Yeah, it's more places for him to hide and be obnoxious.
Thank you for saving me on that summary.
Oh, you got it.
Right, not going to land the paddle star there into Comp. He's just out of range. Jack Troll is going to hold on to that unbreakable will for a few seconds until the tower goes down. That's the second of the game at 15 minutes. The gold lead that Vitality had built up on Rumble has been negated, evened out, whatever your preference. And there is another one. Cabo this time around flashes over Shadow. Now Shadow will take that blast cone over. Electro Harpoon will not slow him down while that's going on. Now there's pressure in the mid lane. The second Rift Herald was picked up. It will deal additional damage on this boop and should just about take the tower out.
He's still fighting them.
Now taking a look, where's Kazi coming at? Now in the river. Cabo Shot's in trouble. He's going to get taken out. It's a fight in so many fronts.
Just a lot of confusion. Uh-oh.
Not done yet. Humanoid gets a sleepy trouble bubble knocked into the air. Bullet time comes down. Comp will survive a few seconds longer. 200 HP and one more double up. That takes the kill. Jack Troll cannot save his ADC.
Okay, 1v1 top lane. Maybe there's some respect.
Go, 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 fight! Petrifying Gaze is available for Seiken. He's trying to put some space down. Turn around! Orome, that was hot! Seiken flashes over the bash. Orome goes down. Skeens comes in for the help while that's going on. Mad Lions aren't done yet. They're pushing the mid in a turret. Here comes Humanoid. He's a running, he's a hopping, he's a paddling, and he's igniting. Not gonna find the sleep just yet. Miasma is thrown down. Flash engage, dodged away from. Humanoid puts Skeens to sleep. Now Humanoid is getting burned and chunked down. Portal jump forward, taken out by Skeens. And this is exactly what I want to see.
Did we just have 4 people die in like the last 2 minutes of play? That was very chaotic. Taking a step back, I feel like Duke backstage. Can we get a pip? I'd just really like to see how angry he is.
What his reaction cam is.
Because it feels like Mad Lion basically got everything that they wanted on the map. They pushed down multiple towers, they returned some of the kills. Yeah, Humanoid goes up, pulls some fancy footwork, himself goes down, but for me, across the board, I still feel more confident about Mad Lions, despite the fact that the gold is still relatively close.
3-0-2 for Vitality's Skeens, and a lot more evenly spread on the Mad Lions side. But now, good luck, Frostgurren. Do you want to analyze the replays for me?
I think, again, we're seeing maybe the leftovers of teams still getting used to each other. The fact that Cabo Shard is playing with Shadow and Humanoid down here while his team is using the Rift Herald into the mid lane. The fact that the 2 up into the top river from Vitality couldn't really decide, are we going top, are we going down into the mid lane? It looks like a lot of miscommunication and a lot of desync.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Orome will be able to flash away the chain of corruption. And I think you're 100% right. Just in that replay alone, 3 separate plays from Vitality in 3 different areas of the map. And it means they end up coming off worse for wear. If you are watching this stream on Twitch, make sure you hit /LEC. It's the new home.
I think it's a bit weird to be like, hey, you watching us right now.
It's just, if you're watching us on /Riot Games, it's being hosted, and I'm sure all the Twitch viewers at home are aware of that. I'm a YouTube viewer myself, so if you're watching YouTube, thank you very much. No change to you guys. But now, okay, if you still feel more confident in Mad Lions and you like sort of what we're seeing from them, what do you want to see change from Vitality to regain some of the control they had early on?
Just play together as a team. That was, like you said, a fight on 3 different fronts.
Yep.
Vitality's composition is still quite strong in that 5v5. Cabo Shard, in particular, was strong for a good portion of this game. Now he's lost a lot of that power, but Skeens, if he goes into that backline, could certainly assassinate someone, Humanoid or Karzi, depending on where the CC hits him. So there's still options for Vitality here.
Oh, options for Mad Lions. They're using some of that extended bush. Compliments of the Ocean Rift. Nobody was stepping forward, though. And the Dragon, I believe, is alive and inside the pit. This one's a little early, but one of the observations from yesterday, Frost, you pointed out that on Dragon 3 or Dragon 4, more often, when Baron is up, trading Baron for Dragon, and this could be a very real eventuality in the coming minutes.
Yeah, we had it happen in several games. Probably the most notable one was the Origin versus Fnatic game yesterday, and it's just because the 3rd to 4th Dragon really spawns where Baron is live, and because it is such a crucial objective, like, League follows a formula. you know that when the dragon spawns, the team that has control of them is going to go for it. So there's this window where you can race to the Baron and try to trade them, and teams are being caught off guard by this. And if that's how the meta is always going to work, that you just have to have that ward on the Baron, that when you go for that third, that fourth dragon, that you have to expect the other team to rush it, or it's just we're in the very beginning of the LEC and this is just a heads-up play that people are going to figure out and then start to counter out. But that is something to watch now that the Baron has spawned, now that we are kind of 3 to 4 dragons deep.
Yeah.
Watch what happens when one team has complete control of the dragons and goes for it. The other team is going to sprint towards Baron as fast as possible.
And when you've got a Cassiopeia, a Fed Rek'Sai, Rumble, and Varus, I think you can burn through it fairly quickly, especially once they get some items. I mean, Leandries is done, Archangels is done, Blade of the Ruined King for comp as well.
And then, of course, the emphasis is that if the team has the control of the Drakes, chances are that they probably have control of the game. So literally all they have to do to clean that up is just dissuade that Baron trade.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, they'll get the power of the Dragon Soul and then rock up to Baron, take it for free, and hopefully slowly close out a game.
If there's any champion that is arguably the best at dissuading Barons, I think Zoe would be
Zoe Misfortune.
up there, right? Definitely up there. If Mad Lions can get Humanoid in the right place at the right time. Running the Flash Ignite, not the TP, so that is important to note. As there's a little bit of a disco going on here.
I don't know, they were like at the club.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool stroke.
Birdheim.
But it's quite funny, if you actually think back over the last 20 minutes and some of the interesting plays, again, remember the rookies, remember how many new players are competing in this game, looking to pick up their first win in the LEC, and then you can start to understand why it's a little disjointed. First week back, still learning to play within the meta and on this stage. Now we've got ourselves a tower trade, top and bottom, respectively.
And there's just no reason for the teams to really run into each other right now. You take a bad fight, it's immediately going to rotate into a Baron. So if everyone's going to make the handshake across map to say, let's take 5-7 more minutes to look for the farm, try to get us to our big item breakpoints. You've called them out a couple of times, specifically Misfortune now having access to the Essence Reaver and the Infinity Edge. She's going to hit very hard. Varus, of course, has access to his Ghost Blade, so a long, sustained fight versus the Misfortune ultimate.
Oh, panic, panic, panic! Jack Troll almost in trouble. Drowsy will tag up Comp. That's a good Unbreakable. That's a great knockup, though. Glacial Fissure, as well as the Equalizer. There's just no damage on the Mad Lions. That is until Skeens rocks up. He manages to kill Shadow, who went deep. I didn't see much HP damage on Mad Lions, but Shadow melted before my eyes.
Yeah, and that was Mad Lions setting up the trap, which I agree with the trap. You have created pockets of vision. You want to find that pick and then try to melt through someone, so it just didn't quite go according to plan, but I think the idea was safe and sound, and the fact of the matter is that Vitality just face-checked a very dark area and got very fortunate that this didn't end up in more disaster.
So I want to see exactly where does the Equalizer damage land, because it looked like the rest of Mad Lions were relatively unscathed, and it was only Shadow that got burnt. I think the Equalizer's a little short.
Yeah, I think the big follow-up damage was, of course, when Cabo also stepped forward with his Flame Spitter.
Yeah, definitely doing the damage. So nevertheless, Vitality, they picked themselves up a kill. Do you think Mad Lions should ever 5v5? Or do you think they've got the tools to kind of avoid and prevent it, assuming the skill shots land?
I think it's about playing these fights patiently, which is what we've seen kind of over the course of the first day and a half now of LEC. So yeah, anyone can 5v5. It's always going to come down to execution, which comp is easier to execute.
I guess the better question is, like, should they, right? When you've got the ability with a Zoe to play around, it's an even game, 45 seconds to Ocean, maybe a Baron rush, you'll have to see. We're getting close to that timer. And Arome, he's started himself a fight, steps forward, looking to challenge Cabo, but nothing comes of it.
I think one of the scary things, though, is the scaling and damage output potential late game from something like a Cassiopeia. We've even seen Patrick pop off on the Varus. I feel like, actually, we were looking at the damage per minute stats, which obviously are very high because the games are going much longer than they used to, and I think Patrick does hold the #1 spot right now on that Varus. So that is something that Mad Lions do need to kind of keep in the back of their head.
Yes.
They have good damage, but you're still looking across from Cassie and Varus, two very high sustained damage champions.
I think, though, that game was a Schalke XL yesterday. It was bonkers. The fights absolutely everywhere. I actually still don't really know how I feel about the games from yesterday. I found them entertaining and fun, albeit they were slower than last year. I think So average game time's nearly 10 minutes longer.
I mean,
it's 5 games, so small sample size, right?
That game specifically, I think, was really decided on individual outplays, and it feels like a lot of our games kind of have been like that. The two teams that really stood out to me that just really had clean fundamental league are actually some of the teams that we'll see later on, which was Origin and Rogue. So I'm very excited to see how Rogue will do in Excel next. In terms of looking at Vitality and Mad, again, you had bright spots of individual flashes of brilliance, particularly Shadow for me. So I'm excited that he's still doing well. Skeens, of course, popping off the rec side this time around.
Yeah, and you can see the damage dealt to Champion's entire game. Comp, 1,600. I think he'll be bringing the Varus DPM stats down ever so slightly, but the game hasn't necessarily been about him. He's actually been a chess piece that Vitality have moved around. Remember those earlier backs and lane swaps? That's what gave Vitality an early advantage.
He still has time to shine.
Yeah, he does. He does. I want him to shine like a diamond much earlier.
Okay, I like this. This is what I wanted from Vitality all day yesterday, which was to get Seiken out into a side lane. Now, Matt see this. They don't want to deal with that snake. They think they've got a window, and they're going to try to force the Baron. So how do Vitality stall this to get Seiken there in time?
Well, there is an equalizer available to them and a chain of corruption. Comp needs to land some of those piercing arrows too. Seiken is making. He's up in the middle lane. We've just taken a look at the Barons. Down to 50%. The equalizer goes out. That's a golden Shadow. He's not down yet. A few seconds still left to go. Arome in the death drum is able to pick up a kill into Jack Troll. There's another from Kazi. He takes out Cabo. All of a sudden, there's a re-engage. Seiken gets pulled by Death's Grasp. And the Mad Lions have a clean team fight win.
Yeah, they just put them through the meat grinder. Seiken shows up just to put the cherry on top. The Mad Lions destroy them and then walk to the Baron.
Exceptionally good call. It wasn't the Dragon that initiated the Baron rush. I think that was a good decision from Mad Lions, seeing Seiken and pulling the trigger.
Yeah, and it's the fact that Seiken is running with the cleanse, doesn't have to teleport. So if the idea from Vitality is I can afford to be over here because you guys can stall them. We have things like a Rumble ultimate. They took the bluff and they bluffed wrong. Like Mad Lions like, you can't stop us. We're actually just going to turn off the Baron and we're going to melt through you. They finally got a really nice engage, what they have been trying to set up for the last 5 minutes, and Vitality just walked face first into it.
I'm trying to see. I don't think the Petrifying Gaze actually hit anyone. I mean, either way, Arome was able to flash to safety. He took a lot of Twin Fang damage, and Arome's got a 2-level advantage over Cabo Shard. 25 CS lead as well. And remember, he conceded the first tower. He was the recipient of a lot of pressure from Vitality. The Sleepy Trouble bubble falls just a little short, but Mad Lions already 4K up.
And now it's desperation.
Yep.
Push the waves out, immediately rotate back with your team and try to hang on for dear life for Vitality right now, whereas Mad Lions, they're on the hunt. As soon as they catch someone, they're gonna blow them up.
Seiken with the cleanse. He manages to use it and get out. I wondered if there was gonna be any more engaged. Not right now. All right, it's a split push Varus, ladies and gentlemen. Comp is up in the top lane, nobody to catch him yet. That is a 4-man stack of Mad in the mid lane. And Arome shoving with the Mordekaiser down in the bottom. Inhibitor number 1 is exposed. Comp is deciding to recall. He will be able to get back, and Mad Lions, they're not done yet.
Yeah, and if Mad Lions, again, get the engagements, Vitality have to be very careful here.
Equalizer comes down. There's no follow-up. There's nothing layered on top of it.
It's okay. It was really just to kind of clear out this wave.
Oh, that's so much good damage. That's a kill. It's a humanoid. Seiken manages to find his target. The Glacial Fissure splits up the Mad Lions team as Kaiser goes in and flies back out. Kazi steps forward with the double up and manages to find another before he's taken down himself. Kaiser is now turning it around. Mad Lions are too far ahead. The buff, the stats, the minions working in their favor, and Comp is left alone in front of the Nexus.
Yeah, Vitality just accepted it. I think they were trying to use the equalizer to try to dissuade Mad Lions from looking for the end there, but they have too much hard engage on their composition. They find the fight anyway, although Comp might be able to hang on.
Yeah, exactly. With that Hurricane Rage Blade, he's going to be able to clear out these waves relatively quickly. The Mad Lions respecting it, and they back away. Mad Lions looking for their first ever LEC win. They want to do this one safely by the numbers.
It's just, you got a dragon spawning in 20 seconds. You have so much control over the map now that 2 inhibitors are down. There's no reason not to. So the equalizer goes out, and it feels like you're trying to follow up on the Varus ultimate, you're trying to layer down damage, but if Vitality get wiped here, it's game over. So They roll the dice, they manage to fight, live another day. This is kind of like their one window to do so, but by the skin of their teeth, this game didn't end.
And I think Arome locking Cabo Shot up inside the Death Realm did a lot to help out there as well. Mad Lions are going to commit to this Ocean. Skeen's not going to get caught out by that Sleepy Trouble Bubble. He's still 4-1 and 3, got that Black Cleaver. It's not going to be enough just yet. And look, there's 3 Oceans as well as an Infernal to complement Mad Lions' sublime control and their decisiveness in the last few minutes. That is impressive to see.
Yeah. It really all happened when Vitality got split up in that mid portion of the game, fighting on 3 different points where Mad Lions just did the NA classic and ran it down mid lane, knocked on the mid tower door, and then from then it just gave them so much control over the map that they were able to set up those picks, eventually find it around the Baron, rotate into Baron, and now find themselves in this power position.
So Frostgurn, I have a question for you. It's a personal one. You're allowed to answer this as a human being, a League of Legends player and a fan. What do you think of a 6-1-2 Misfortune with a double IE?
I love double IE. I think the raw stats that you get from it are great. Like, in terms of just, like, bang for your buck on the ultimate, that's how I play my Misfortune. I don't need attack speed. I'm here to press R, and that's it.
I want to see how much damage the Q and the R do. I just want one double up to be nice and clean, just to find a champion and see how their HP melts. All right, that's going to be a Sleepy Snake. Seiken will stay alive a few seconds longer. The Paddle Star won't go further. I'm watching Kazi. Where are the double ups? There's no minions to bounce it off. Chain of Corruption.
I'm telling you, mate. Yeah, the double up will be nice, but it really doesn't matter.
There was a time I was a one-trick Misfortune, and I get so much enjoyment out of landing that spell.
Double Infinity Edge, 6-1 and 2 MF. He's basically just daring Jack Troll. He's like, you want to stand in front of this? Be my guest.
Yeah, let's see how unbreakable that Unbreakable truly is. Kazi's going to throw down Make It Rain. The rest of the Mad Lions pushing onto the inhibitor. The next, oh my word, the turret in front of the inhibitor. Paddle Star goes out. Jack Troll now doesn't have that spell available. Humanoid will get tagged up, but Vitality, they can't find an engage. They need an equalizer or a petrifying gaze.
They need a miracle, Trevor, even if they find that.
Yeah, the Chain of Corruption's on cooldown. They can't use it. Now Mad Lions, 3 waves of supers. Look, doubles coming from their side of the map. They just did it by time.
Yep, trying to crash the waves at the same time. The fortunate thing for Vitality is that it's only going to be kind of one wave crashing, then the next one will file in very slowly. So they are managing to thin these waves.
Yeah, luckily the Cassio Varus do great in that situation. But now the Mad Lions roster, definitely the less experienced if you add up the cumulative number of games these 5 players have, and they are definitely the ones that are on the verge of victory.
The Baron is going to spawn very soon, which is what Mad Lions are going to back off for. I was going to say, Vitality are going to be playing dodgeball underneath their Nexus towers if Mad Lions continue to try to end it there. One Zoe bubble tags you, and that's
exactly.
it.
GG. Get hit by one single spell. Humanoids does some good damage under Jack Troll. Won't be able to follow up, and this is just obviously an uncontested Baron. But look at the minion waves. Baron empowered double supers. They're still pouring through. I think the mid inhib should come up relatively shortly. 9 seconds and 45 seconds for the bottom lane. So Mad Lions just going to pour straight through the mid, and this is going to be the final. You expect it to be the final siege.
Which means, Vitality, you have one last chance here. And usually, when you have this situation, it has to be with the flank. Now, I want to point out all of the vision that Mad Lions still have sitting in this jungle, particularly through control wards. And that's the issue, is that Vitality would actually need to be getting in there right now to try to find these pockets. Because, again, you need the Miracle team fight. You need the Miracle CC chain, the Miracle lair. Jack Troll is going on the mission just to try to find, what is it? Do we call it the Hilly in this region?
That's it?
Yeah, the Hilly maneuver.
The Hilly maneuver, indeed. I wonder if Cabo will be able to do anything here. Minion waves being shoved in, top, middle, and bottom.
Because otherwise, the Mad Lions are coming.
Yeah,
They're going to kick down that door.
They absolutely are. I mean, they've kicked the door in already. They're trying to take your TV and your hi-fi system. Final siege is on. Kazi stepping forward here.
He's in.
Jack Troll, flash for flash. Winter's Bite doesn't find a target. Jack Troll, you're not going to enjoy what comes next. Kaiser steps forward. Petrifying Gaze comes down. Shadow now engaging from behind. The bullet time! Not going to be enough to kill Jack Troll just yet. But here comes Arome. He jumps forward. Sniped by Kaiser from above. It's just the one kill, but they get the inhib as well. They take the bottom inhib, and they are on the final siege.
Yeah, they are starting to suffocate this map. That was kind of the last stand. What do Vitality have left?
Well, Kaiser was able to redeem the loss from yesterday. The equalizer comes down, and he's able to fly to safety. Humanoid doesn't find the kill onto Seiken, and the Petrifying Gaze is still available for him. It's gonna be a miracle and a half for Vitality to stop this siege, and not with those Panel Stars landing. Kaiser goes in, Petrifying Gaze locks down Arome, but Humanoid manages to find another kill. Kazi is a man on a mission, focusing the Nexus turrets, and this will be just about it. That's the double up damage I wanted to see, and the Nexus will be the focus. The Mad Alliance pick up their first win in the LEC.
And very crisp play by the Mad Lions across the board. Special shout out to their bot lane. Kaiser in particular, I think, had a great game on the Recon. And Max should feel pretty happy walking out on